All right, so we're moving on to section 10.5, and this will be the halfway point for unit 10. 10.5, after this lesson will be prepping for your mid-unit test. So we're going to finish up the first half of the polynomial unit with solving polynomials. Now, you may not have noticed, but so far with unit 10, we haven't seen a single equal sign. All we've been doing is adding, subtracting, multiplying, simplifying, but we haven't solved anything. We haven't had any answer that was x equal to. Well, today that's going to change because I'm going to show you a simple way to solve polynomials. Now, at this level in the game of Algebra 1, you know how to solve linear polynomials. You've been doing that since pre-algebra, so I'm not talking about those. But we're going to solve quadratic polynomials. Now, if you remember the word quadratic, that is the type of polynomial that has the highest degree of 2. And that's where we're going to stop. Solving cubic polynomials or any degree greater than 2, that's what you get in Algebra 2. So I'm just going to show you how to solve quadratic polynomials. All right? Now, in order to solve quadratic polynomials, you have to use a special property that we call the zero product property. Okay? Zero product property. That's what you put in the first blank. And basically, it's just those two words, zero and product, kind of squished together. And here's what it's saying. So this is what you put in your box. You got your box on your notes there. The zero product property says, if you have two expressions, numbers, in our case they'll be polynomials, a times b, and it's set equal to 0, then what we have to do is let a equal to 0 and b equal to 0. Now, you're like, what in the world are you talking about? Well, think about it. Anytime you have two numbers or two expressions or two values or whatever equal to 0, one of them has to be 0. I mean, you learned that back in the 3rd grade when you were learning your multiplication tables. Anything times 0 is 0. Well, when we have a polynomial expression equal to 0, we don't know which part is the 0. So we set both parts equal to the 0 and solve. Now remember, I'm using a and b. These are not going to be numbers. These are going to be binomials. So an expression, we have two expressions that are equal to 0. We let both of them equal to 0 and then we solve. All right? Now, so got that written down. Kind of let it marinate a little bit. It'll look a lot simpler once we have some real numbers and real terms instead of the a and the b. Okay? So next sentence. When you solve quadratic polynomials, I want you to circle the word quadratic. I circled it, so I want you to circle it because that's our focus, quadratics. When you solve quadratic polynomials, there will always be two solutions. Okay? Now, I'm not making this up. The two solutions come because your highest degree is 2. Your highest degree will always tell you the number of solutions. You'll learn that in Algebra 2. So if we're solving quadratics and the highest degree is 2, then you got to have two solutions. All right? Next sentence. These solutions are called roots. Now, in Algebra 1, we're probably just going to use the term solutions because that's what you're used to. But when you get into Algebra 2 in your upper level courses, roots is the term that you use. It's just a fancy way of saying that's your answers for the polynomial. Your x equals 2, your x equals 5, your roots are 2 and 5. It's just semantics. All right? Let's try one really quick. Okay? Example 1, pretty simple. Example 1, x minus 4, that's your first binomial, times x plus 2 equals 0. So you got two binomials. We don't care about multiplying them. We don't need a box method this time. You want to leave it just like this. A times b equals 0. We don't know which one of these, because we're looking at the entire binomial, right? We don't know which one of these is equal to 0. So what you have to do, set them both equal to 0. Solve for x. Now this is simple. It's a simple one-step equation. If x minus 4 equals 0, x is positive 4. X plus 2 equals 0, x is negative 2. That's your two roots. Simple. All right, now the next video, we're going to talk about what happens when polynomials aren't ready to solve. Because the reality is, you've got to work your way to this point. So for the rest of these notes, I'm going to show you how to get to this point, and then you'll be able to use the zero product